All right. Hello and welcome to Pink Pixels, where we power up visibility for women in the gaming industry. I'm Rebecca Dixon from the Gamehers, and we are a community platform for women in gaming. You can always join us at tgh.app to meet people, find people to play with, learn about gaming careers, network with industry professionals. And Pink Pixels is our weekly stream. This is season 3. And we are featuring winners of the 2025 Gamers Awards. So we've talked with advocates for representation, trailblazers in gaming, content creators, all the winning categories. And today we're speaking with cosplay winner, Midnight Persona. So welcome, Midnight. It's great to have you here.
Hi,
And
it's great to be
yeah,
here.
yeah, thank you so much. I'm also joined by my colleague, Sarah Mulhern. So Sarah, thank you so much for being here too. Sarah is a cosplay enthusiast and at the Gamehers, our resident cosplay expert. And so it's always just fun to have conversations with the awards winners to, highlight their incredible journey. And I'm really excited for Sarah and I to have the opportunity to chat with you, Midnight. So also welcome, Sarah.
Thank you. It's so exciting to be here.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really fun. So first of all, Midnight, just congratulations. I'm super honored to have the opportunity to speak with you for the next, few minutes or hour on this episode of Pink Pixels. You're an artist, a photographer, a cosplayer, and a Gamers Award winner. So being that you're such an inspiration to, everyone who might be watching, how did you arrive here? Could you tell us a little bit about your path?
Okay, so when it comes down to like cosplaying, like I've been doing gaming my whole life. It's been something that's been like weaved within my family. We're all gamers and it's kind of been our thing that we just use to relax. But when it comes to cosplaying, back in like 2009, I went to like my first convention, and when I walked in, I saw people in costume and I was like, I didn't know this was something people did outside of Halloween. And so I started like talking to some other cosplayers and learning more about it. And from that point forward, I was hooked and I was not leaving the hobby. Um, and it was just something that really, really stuck with me because it's something that I used to express myself and to cheer myself up. Um, and to also help other people kind of find themselves because I've learned that cosplay helps a lot of people kind of find themselves and discover who they are through their own costuming and makeup and things like that.
I love that. I remember your bio states something like, you're a neighborhood cosplayer, and I think it also said you spread positivity or happiness in the world, which just kind of reminds me of what you just said. And I mean, I would agree with that. And I'm not a cosplayer, but even just kind of chatting with you for a few minutes so far, I feel like your energy is spreading positivity just in its sort of by nature.
Yeah.
How did you always find that was, I mean, what, it's like such a great thing to have literally in your bio right off the bat.
Um, I know being a positive content creator is really hard, because obviously there's a thin line between the false positivity and being actually positive. Because when you are actually positive, it's also okay to express the negativity of things. It's okay to point out that some things aren't always going to be happy and some things aren't always going to be um, good because it's like even looking at the state of the world. But it's also okay to then sit down and try to find solutions and or try to find something that helps a person calm down to help them find solutions and things. So being positive isn't just about, oh, everything's great and sparkles in sunshine. It's also about talking about the difficulties but finding a silver lining or at least a way to help calm yourself while going through those negativities.
Love that. I actually feel that as I'm a mom, I've got a few kids, and that's a lesson I've learned a lot from my children. I'm an ultimate optimist, and what I've learned recently is like sometimes to a fault, and not so much that like optimism can lead to disappointment if you're always expecting the best. That's one challenge around it, but the other is what you just said, and that really resonates, because it's like allowing room for when things aren't perfect, but which is actually something I sometimes struggle with, like wanting to everybody to be happy
Yeah.
all the time. But then I think you really sort of hit the nail on the head for how am trying to continue to learn to think about it, which is in the midst of negativity, you can still find that positive happiness. So thank you for reminding me of that lesson. I think it's such an important one, and especially in not just in the world, but also in our industry specifically. Sometimes there are lots of things that are positive, but there also are some, less than positive aspects that show their light at times.
Yeah. It's unfortunate, but
um so you go on your in all kind of the content and um places that you show up in the world. You're a cosplayer, you also have a lot of other artistic talents. Like, was that a natural sort of um transition from, or to expand beyond just cosplay and do other kinds of art, and what other kind of art do you do?
Um, honestly, I started with drawing. I was drawing when I was young. My mom liked to draw still life, and my dad was really into comics and stuff like that. And so
Mm.
from there, I kind of started just drawing in what people would call an anime style, but I kind of consider it my own style. And then after discovering cosplay, I started kind of designing outfits and then making them through my cosplay stuff. And then from there, I learned photography because there weren't enough photographers taking pictures of plus size, BIPOC, and different types of cosplayers. So I took it upon myself to learn photography so that way we could get representation and get pictures of ourselves. Um, and I went around conventions taking pictures of cosplayers and stuff that weren't the like, of course, beautiful models and stuff that have like thousands of photographers around them taking pictures, but there's so many other wonderful cosplayers too that don't get that same appreciation. So I taught myself to do photography through that. And a lot of the times I kind of just learn new skills through like kind of that see a need, fill a need kind of situation where if someone's not doing it or I need something done and I don't know who I can ask to do it, I'll just figure it out. And I'll just be the person who learns how to do that thing.
That's really amazing. Like, where did you start to learn how to do photography? Like, if you could give anyone advice who wants to learn how to do their own photography for their cosplay, how did you get into that?
Honestly, very self-taught. I picked up a camera and I started
Wow.
kind of just taking pictures and then seeing what I liked, and
Hmm.
then looking up my own camera and searching the settings and kind of seeing what I liked and how I liked it, and kind of discovering my own style because everyone has a different type of style through photography as well
Right.
as artwork. So it's really discovering what you enjoy, and I like portraits. Um, and also a really good tip, which people might not think about, is if you play a certain game that has photography options or
Mm.
like they have a camera mode, practicing through that and seeing what type of shots you have. Like I play Infinity Nikki and it has a
Mm.
photography mode. And so I dress Nikki up in an outfit, take her to an area and kind of see how I like the lighting, how I like the shift of how it looks. And then I can take that and incorporate to my real photography to see to already have that eye from playing the video game and seeing what I like through that. But looking up tutorials and things like that, I mostly just kind of teach myself through feel. So,
Mm.
Kind of amazing. One of the consistent themes that has come up week after week as we've been chatting with completely different categories in our award winners, is the concept that you can teach yourself something if I mean, maybe not absolutely everything, but there are so many resources, if you're sort of, ninja-like about it and just find them, and you identifying that need for photography and then just doing it and figuring out what you needed to learn. I love that you looked up your camera, looked up the settings. Like, it's almost like you backed into learning how to do it. And I think that's a really good example of, what people can do. I think sometimes people who want to get into this industry whether it be as a cosplayer or another, role in the broader gaming, anime. Like you can always find people to ask questions. You can also watch a lot of tutorials that exist online, and it's interesting that that's something that's been so consistent with some of the winners, which makes me think that that's sort of one of the things that pushes people ahead to get to be in the position where you're going to win something like a Gamers Award. So
especially nowadays, because when I first started cosplaying, there was like no wig shop really. There was no like places you could just go to look it up because I was back in 2010, 2009. But nowadays there's definitely way more resources that it's a lot easier to just look up or talk to people to learn how to do it with internet and everything like that.
yeah, I mean, actually, I meant to note that you mentioned 2009 is when you started.
Mhm.
You must have seen an incredible change in just the whole world of cosplay. Like what has changed?
Um, I will say that people are a lot more open now. There is a lot more obvious representation, because when I started, there were a lot of Black cosplayers, but there were really only like three that were really shown in the spotlight, you know? Nowadays, it's easy to find people, find your own communities, and find more representation. Um, I will say both a positive and a negative of it is like everything is very fast popularity. Where when I first started, it was about representing your character, having fun in your fandom, and just enjoying being around people. But a lot of people nowadays get into cosplay for the popularity of it. Um, but in a way, it's like it's cool that you have a goal, and it's cool that people can go viral showing something that they love, but it's also a little sad that it kind of takes away from some of just the joy of it, because when people start focusing too hard on going viral or numbers, they get burnt out very quickly and they don't have that joy of just doing something that they're passionate about. It's about how many views can I get on this, you know? So there's a huge change on trying to be popular. Back from when I started, it was, you like the same thing I like. I like that too. We should be friends, you know?
I do know what you mean. It's so interesting as I was thinking about all the different things that would be great for us to chat about. It's like you're mentioning things that were literally kind of one of the next kind of questions or topics I was going to bring up, and burnout is one of them. How do you think about burnout, and how do you stay true to your commitment to positivity for your community and the world at large without burning out yourself?
I mean, I'd be lying if I said I didn't burn out a lot, you know? It's difficult. It's really difficult because sometimes when you use your passion and your job as a means to like get away from things,
Yeah.
it then becomes too much of a job, and you have to find a good balance to back out and kind of relax. Um, a lot of times I just have to like write myself notes or remind myself that, hey, you don't have anything due right now. You can chill out. Like yesterday, I was going to film a bunch of stuff and I had to like lecture myself and go, hey, tomorrow you have this interview. You can't burn yourself out before you do that, or else you're not going to want to put on cosplay. And I was like, okay, let me slow down. Let me do this on Thursday or another day, and then I'll come back to it. So it's just kind of leaving yourself reminders and like trying to find the moments to relax. Like another good example is I do cozy streaming on my Twitch because I get so overwhelmed with a lot of other stuff that I'd rather have a place to go to that people can kind of relax and lurk and just kind of enjoy like the farming sims or the dress up games, because there's so much going on all the time that I need a space to just breathe. And those types of games help me breathe. And I was going to play them anyway, so why not open a space that people can sit and just kind of have a small conversation or breathe? So finding the moments to just take a breath really helps, because it is incredibly difficult not to get burnt out sometimes.
Yeah. Well, thanks for your honesty on that, because I agree. I mean, it's a challenge. And the challenge that you talked about, like wanting to do some videos yesterday and thinking about what you had today, that's something I struggle with personally too, like looking at all the things I have for the next week or month and thinking I should do them all today, you know?
Yeah.
It's like not a realistic way to move forward, but it's about pausing is what I'm hearing you saying, and you giving yourself a little pep talk.
Yeah. Like I have a bad habit of going, if I'm putting on makeup, I should do videos because I have the makeup on. I don't want to waste it. But then I have to reevaluate myself and be like, but are you exhausted? You know, are you able to stand right now? Because I am also guilty because I have chronic pain and chronic illnesses. And so I'm super hard on myself and I push myself. And so it's reminding myself that even if you don't have a disability, it's still going, hey, you're gonna burn yourself out or hurt yourself to the point that you won't be able to do this for the rest of the week. So take a breath, pause, because you'll be able to do more later, the more you take care of yourself now. And then that's when I kind of go, okay, I gotta take a second. And sometimes if I can't take a second, I will like harass my husband and be like, I'm thinking about doing this. And he'll be like, stop, sit down, go take a nap. And I'll be like, okay, you're right. You know? So even sometimes having a person to remind you that you do a lot already, calm down, you know? So
Yeah, surrounding yourself with people who will remind you what you actually want to do, but you feel like you can't. That's really cool. Well, so you mentioned something about being in cosplay, thinking like you feel about, you know, that would be a good opportunity to do some videos because you're, you know, all ready to do that. And I'd love to talk about like the ins and outs of actually what that means. So we have a lot of cosplay enthusiasts in our community, but we also have a lot of people who probably don't know a lot about like, what does it entail exactly? Like, how does it work? Like, and you know, so like I mentioned before, Sarah's our on our team she's an incredible makeup artist and has a lot of well, a lot of skills that I could give you her whole bio right now, but I'll let her speak for herself. But I'd love to just learn for myself and then for anybody who's watching, like, you know, how long does it generally take to get ready? What does it mean? How do you think about it? How do you, how do you put together, you know, all of the different cosplays that you've done and kind of anywhere you want to go with that question, but it'd be fun to get into the details.
okay. Um, so one thing I always try to remind myself is that I have like several jobs. And for other cosplayers to remind themselves that you are the writer, director, photographer, actor, and makeup artist, and any other skills that might come with that. And so, like, when it comes down to planning a cosplay, you know, picking the cosplay, like, for example, I wanted to do Miku. Um, and so I had to put together the stuff. And being a plus size cosplayer, I can't always just go out and buy the costume, which is great when you can, because buying cosplay, making cosplay, thrifting cosplay, or modding cosplay, all valid forms of cosplay. Um, but I had to modify this. And so it goes going to certain stores, picking up pieces, then taking things apart, sewing things on. Then I have to style my wig to make sure it looks the way I want. Because I didn't want to just throw this on. I wanted to have a more curly effect to it. I had to curl it, let it sit overnight, making different props and things like that to go along with her. And then even like after I even put the whole costume together, because this is completely modded, um, finding audio if you're doing TikTok,
Mhm.
subjects you might want to talk about, figuring out exactly how you want certain things to look. That's all the acting, the voice acting, and things like that. Then you have to find the right lighting, make sure that the lighting is good, the mood is good in the room. And that sometimes takes kind of trial and error studying and things like that. Recording the whole thing, editing the whole thing, going back through and making sure there's little touch-ups or things that you might want to fix to your videos. Then I both do TikTok and I do my own photography, self-photography. So I have to do all the photography as well, do that, and then later put it on the computer, edit all of those pictures, go through, put my logo and things like that on it. And then you're also your own social media manager. So you have to post your stuff, make sure you have the right hashtags, make sure you have the right stuff put together there. Oh, and also doing my own makeup for the stuff because I do my own makeup. And so like people think sometimes like doing cosplays, like you're putting on a costume and you're kind of playing around. But I don't think they really realize that once again, you're the director, you're the makeup artist, you're the wig styler, you're the costume designer, you're the actor, you're the voice actor, you're the camera person, you're the director, you know, you're the editor, the social media manager. And there's so much to it than just you put on a costume and dance around. So sometimes even doing the cosplay portion of it, and especially if you do it like for a job or for just content creation, it could take like a whole week to finish off the editing, the everything styling and everything like that. And then it's a whole other process when it comes to putting it together for like a convention because you have to make
Yeah.
sure that it lasts the convention, make sure that your makeup lasts the convention. And sometimes that's a whole new set of makeup because at home you can kind of do whatever and have fun with it. But then when you're going out, especially in the heat or things like that, you got to make sure you have the right sealant. You got to make sure you have the right setting powder. You got to make sure you have this. You got to make sure you can actually last in it. Sometimes I can wear contacts. Sometimes I can't wear contacts because I know like this is an hour. So, okay, I can handle having contacts in my eye today. But then if I'm going to a convention, I might not be able to handle having 8 hours of a colored contacts in my eye. So I've got to make sure I have my solution and all that stuff with me just in case. So there's always a lot of stuff you have to think about. And so a lot of times, even towards my friends, I'll remind them that you do a lot. It's not just you playing dress up and bouncing around. There is a lot more to it than just it being dress up because even if you do it, like I said, I do a lot of TikToks, it's acting because I
Yeah.
have to be that character and show the facial expressions and things like that. Because I can go from a character that's like Miku, happy-go-lucky, to a villain like Ursula, and I have to change completely different voice like kind of looks and facial expressions. And sometimes that can be taxing because you have to think about all this stuff and where your face is and everything. So there's a lot of skills that you have to kind of teach yourself when you're doing content creation and cosplaying all together.
Yeah, you did such an amazing job explaining the process because it really takes like a full week. Because even just searching for an audio for a TikTok and then makeup and then putting on the cosplay. And then I think my least favorite part is setting up the lighting and like getting the right angle because I'm like, oh, this isn't. And then I have to take my phone off the tripod and like look at the video and be like, did that look right? And then it's
Hmm.
like 10 to 20 tries. I mean, it takes many tries for me to get like a TikTok audio right. And like,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I liked that acting in that one. And then it's like, oh, the lighting might be a little off, or like, it takes a lot. And then on top of that, doing a convention like like same day, and you also want to get videos there, it's like that must be very taxing. And like again, it's like
Also,
the wig can be too tight, and it's
God
like,
forbid too, you miss like a piece of your makeup or
right,
like the one thing, because I've done a whole filming session and then go, they have a mole under
right,
their lip. And I'm like, I just filmed all of that without the mole on the lip. And then I'm like, you know what? It's fine. I don't
right.
care.
Yeah.
I have to like
Exactly.
let it go or else I'll drive myself mad.
Exactly. And especially if like a character has like unique eyes, like
Hmm.
there's some contacts that are like the Makima contacts are really
Hmm.
hard to see out of.
Yes, they are.
So
I cosplay
exactly.
Makima.
Exactly. And it's like, oh my gosh, it's like there's
I
not
went
a
to a
lot you can
con with
do.
her and it was so
Wow.
like I had luckily, like I had my friends with me. I was like, guys,
Yeah.
I can't see. So
Yeah, please
someone's gonna
guide
have
me.
to guide me.
Exactly. So you put it so well. It's a lot of effort, and especially if you're doing that consistently, it's very hard to like avoid the burnout. But yeah, I mean, I applaud you. So
Thank you.
amazing.
I also think it's so interesting when you were, rolling off all the different job titles that are incorporated into doing cosplay. They're not ones that necessarily you would think the same type of person could do. Like it's amazing, maybe sort of like makeup artist and, but then directing and then social media and then getting the lighting right. It's a lot of unique talents. So I also applaud you. I got tired listening to the list. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm just hearing what you have to do, and it sounds exhausting, but it must be so rewarding to kind of get to that final moment and get the 10th or 20th try and have the right video created, or, arrive at the convention or whatever. But thank you for sharing that. That was really cool. So I'd love to chat more about conventions. I know we've talked about them a little bit, or, just any kind of live events. Do you think, okay, number one, what do you think the importance and value of attendance is? Like, what do you get out of going? And as a follow-up question, do you ever, you've been going to them for a long time now, but I know a lot of people have some, trepidation or nervousness about how do you prepare for one? Not even so much, I mean, yes, how do you prepare to go and cosplay, but also how do you just prepare to meet people and connect with community?
Well, to answer the first part, like you said, it is community. It's being able to experience something different and getting out of the house to meet cosplayers face to face and people who are part of your fandom face to face and making friends. It can be very difficult because you don't know anybody, and most of us are very nervous about making friends and things like that. Um, Conventions for me was a huge outlet, especially because, once again, the internet and social media wasn't as vast as it is now when I started. So it was like my only form of really meeting other nerds like me and meeting other people who are into the same things and finding community. Um, I think that if you are very much so into gaming, cosplaying, things like that, you should at least visit a convention once, just so you kind of feel like for me, going to a con is like going to Disneyland because I'm surrounded by things that I like, an atmosphere where I feel like myself, and a place where I can feel comfortable being weird and a nerd and not having to be like, oh, well, people might not like, what I'm doing. But in all honesty, everyone here is essentially doing the same thing. Um, and as for going and feeling nervous. Funny enough, I actually run a panel when I go to cons when I'm guesting. Um, that's called How to Cosplay When You're 99.9% Anxiety. Because I deal with social anxiety and anxiety in general. And most people are like, I would have never known. And I'm like, that's because I've been training myself and teaching myself for years how to kind of chill and like try to talk, because I get nervous even doing these talks, with people. Um, but a lot of the times, going with a friend always helps because it helps you kind of have a safe place or person to turn to when you're starting to feel a little off. Um, there are a lot of places in conventions, like there are quiet rooms now more often than not, or manga lounges that you can go to if you're starting to feel overwhelmed by the whole convention. But most of the time, it's really just like it's so much that I feel like I don't feel as nervous because I'm just so excited to see everything, because there are panels that you can hang out in front of people who are in the same fandoms. There are just artist alley, there's exhibitors, there's even cosplay gatherings where even if you're not in cosplay, but you see they're having a meetup of, say, My Hero Academia, you can just go there, go see other people who are into the same thing you're into and make friends that way, because it's a little less nerve-wracking when you see people that like the same thing you do. Because even when you go to cons, not everybody's going to like the same animes and games you do. But when you find those little gatherings, that's your community of people that you can possibly exchange social media and talk to each other later. So I always recommend going to gatherings too, especially as a cosplayer. Um, but a lot of the times I just kind of think it's easier to dive in to see what you can kind of handle and the type of stuff that you like, and prepare yourself by just finding like the quiet spots, the safe spots where security is, where the health aid area is, because you never know if something does happen, then you know who to talk to, and knowing where staff is. So in case something does happen, you know that you can go talk to someone. But I think just keep making yourself aware of your map and where things are helps a lot with the anxiety or being nervous about going to a convention.
Yeah, that's a very good call out, because I know in the cosplay community, a big topic is that cosplay is not consent.
Yep.
Do you have any advice on new cosplayers, how to, I guess, navigate that?
Um, Mostly it can be difficult because it's a situation that nobody wants to be in, you know?
Right.
And that's why I always recommend that if you do have a friend, even if they're not necessarily in to the fandoms,
Mhm.
just having them there as a safe, guard. But if you don't, then like I said, knowing where security is, knowing where a staff member is at all times, and it's a lot of the times it does take the courage to be able to go, hey, this person's making me uncomfortable, but that's what the staff is there for. That's what security's there for. Staff is there to help you and to make sure you're okay because they can't have the convention without you. So you have to remind yourself that that's what they're there for. And so and sometimes even if you're a little nervous, there are other con members or like of attendees and even like exhibitors or artists that if you go, hey, I'm really nervous and I wanted to know if you could help me find a staff member because someone's making me uncomfortable. I have not ever met an artist who was going to be like, no, I'm not helping you. Because most artists in Artist Alley, they're like ready to jump to protect and help people because we're all
Yeah.
nerds and we're all there. Or they'll be like, hey, sit next to me. You're now my like you're helping me at my table. Uh-huh. And then I'll sit here and I'll act, we'll act like we're buddies. And once they leave, we can help you get to a staff member. So
Yeah.
don't be afraid to ask someone because most people in the space are there and they're willing to help you, but finding a staff member, knowing where they are, or even
Mhm.
asking like an Artist Alley person or exhibitor, do you know where staff is so I can find someone? They tend to know because they have to for their table. So it's you're there to have fun. So do not let other people steal your joy and do not
Mhm.
be afraid to let someone know that you are uncomfortable or finding like the quiet room or somewhere to go into because they're there if you're like, hey, I'm trying to relax, but this person's making me uncomfortable. It's the quiet room. You cannot come in there if you're making people uncomfortable. So staff
Right.
members there will absolutely try to help you. So,
I love that that's the name of your talk. I mean, that's an amazing talk to give. Was it how to con when you're 99.9%
it's how
anxiety?
to cosplay,
Oh,
but I
sorry, how to
kind of
cosplay.
incorporate all of it.
Yeah.
I can incorporate the convention part of it and the cosplay part of it. It's just I talk more about how to get started in cosplay, how to meet friends through cosplay, and then parts of it is if you're going to a con, here's other things that'll help make you feel
Mhm.
better. Yeah. Yeah. How to cosplay if you're 99.9% anxiety.
That's a great title for a topic and also a great topic. So that's neat that you do that.
Thank you.
Oh, okay, so throughout your journey, you've obviously made such an impact for positivity and on, in all the places where you are. I'd love to know, was there one moment or have there been some notable moments along the way that stand out when you realize that you have the power to create change in this broader space? I mean, I would say like one example you just giving that talk is so amazing and admirable and relevant. But was there a moment when everything kind of seemed to click for you around impact?
Um, there's like two that pop into my head. Um, when I first started cosplaying, I was a very nervous person because I did competitions. Like I competed on stage, and I was always the person who kind of helped create the skits and then let other people take the forefront and be the main characters, if you will, in the um, competition. And after a while, I wanted to try to learn how to do it on my own to help myself. I had done a skit that was Isabel from Animal Crossing, and it was after the pandemic, and I I usually compete to win and like try to do stuff, but this was I'm just going to be on stage to get back into the feeling of what it was like to compete before. But I'm going to do it by myself. And I do these things that are called island reports, like when you open the game up and Isabel's like, hi, welcome back to the island. And I do them on my TikTok. So I decided to do one live on stage. And I was like, hey, everyone, welcome back. It was so good to see you. I know things are hard right now and everything has been kind of crazy, but remember that you're worthy and you're important and you matter, and that we're so happy that you made it through and you survived another day, and that, we're so happy to see you back at the island. And it was in February. So at the end, I was like, also happy Black History Month. And I walked off stage and I didn't win anything, which was fine. But afterwards, there were so many people who came up to me and were like, I really needed to hear that. It's been a really rough time. And I really appreciate you just giving that message. And even like one of the judges was like, that was really wonderful. And so having even a judge and other people come up and say, just, you know, it really means a lot to me that you said that. I didn't need to win because I felt like I already did, because my whole point was just put a positive message out there. And it was a moment that kind of made me feel like, okay, because a lot of the times when I do these, they're not just for other people, they're also for me, because I a lot of the time struggle with feeling important. And so I say it as like I'm speaking it into the world, that it's a truth. And when other people come back and say, hey, that really helped me, I feel like I'm not wrong. I feel like there's something, like that's kind of what I'm put here to do, is to help myself and others feel like we're important to be here through just talking and enjoying and creating and bringing joy. And so after that skit, I kind of was like, okay, I'm I'm in the right place. I'm here, and this is okay, that this is what I want to do with my life, because sometimes it gets hard too when you're not a lawyer or a doctor or things like that, that what you're doing isn't important. But having people tell you that, it helps a lot, you know.
Oh,
That's so
absolutely.
amazing. I love that you did the island update. That is too cute and so wholesome. Scribe mentioned the bonsai moment. Can you can you elaborate on what that is?
I Okay. He's on his lunch break. That's my husband. Uh, um,
Hi.
I'm trying to figure out what he means by the bonsai moment, because I know there was a convention called Anime Bonsai that we perform at a lot. One second.
Hmm.
Um, so I don't know. He would have to elaborate, because actually, I do know what he's talking about. So I cosplay Junko Inoshima from Danganronpa, which is far left to what I normally do, because like this is cutesy Miku, and then I do Isabel, and then I do Junko, which is like
Mhm.
way off. And so at one point I was guesting at Bonsai, and I was walking through the hallway trying to get to a panel. And as I was walking, I heard really loudly someone scream, "Is that a black Junko?" And they jumped up from where they were and they ran at me and they were like, "Oh my God, you look gorgeous. I love your cosplay. You're amazing. I never thought I would see someone cosplay Junko or from Dangan and be black." And like, I feel like that's so cool, because I love Dangan and I want to cosplay from it, but I just feel like it can't, because that. And so they were kind of telling me, and I was like, "I'm so sorry. I have to go to a panel, but like, thank you so much. And yes, if you're gonna cosplay, do it right now, But I have to run. I'm so sorry. And if I come back through, I'll come talk to you, but I have to go." And so just seeing their excitement of seeing representation in their fandom, like really also helped me feel like, okay, I'm doing right. I'm doing what I should be doing, because I want to make sure that people like me know that it is okay to have fun and be in these nerdy spaces, and know, like, just because we're black or, BIPOC, that we do belong in these spaces. It is not just, centered towards specific people. We can be here. And so that was another moment that like really made me happy to see that someone else understands that they belong here.
That's an amazing story, and kudos to your husband for teeing it up.
It's so
Um,
sad.
that's that's so funny. Um, what do you think? Again, because you started cosplaying a long time ago. Like, is there something that you would look back to your younger self and share about cosplay? Or it also wouldn't have to be about cosplay, about where you are now and how to look towards the future.
Honestly, a lot of it would probably just be telling myself to keep going. Because there were a lot of times where I missed out on opportunities because I felt like I wasn't worthy of them, or I had a moment where I could possibly do more, be interviewed, or do something else, but I was like, well, I don't think I'm there yet. I don't think it's really something that, like, I don't do enough, or, I don't look the part. And I would probably look back and be like, stop doing that. Just if someone offers you an opportunity, take it. If someone says that you should try this, do it because they're saying it because you're worthy. They're not just saying it for no reason. And so there's a lot of things that I wish I would have just gone for, even in senses where I've had friends who wanted the same opportunity, but I pulled back because I didn't want to take away from them. And I didn't want to take their opportunity for them, even if it was offered to me first. And so I was always very much so, well, you go ahead because I want you to be happy and I want you to reach your dreams, but at the same time sacrificing my own. And so I'd probably look back and be like, it's okay to be selfish sometimes. It's okay to reach your dreams at the same time as other people. You don't have to be a side character. You don't have to be a sidekick. You can be the hero from time to time. And a lot of just step out of the shadows and start standing in the spotlight because it is
That's
okay that you
amazing.
take up space.
No, I love that. And I really loved what you said about representation because it is so important. Is there a cosplay that you've done about a character that you felt like kin to or you felt very represented? Is there a cosplay that you feel, I guess you were able to express that?
Hmm. I know, see, there's a few. When it comes down to feeling represented, honestly, as of late, Miku's been a big character for me. Because I know that the creators and everything say that every form of Miku is valid. Every
Hmm.
type, every costume, every design is canon for Miku because she is so many things.
Hmm.
And so when certain memes and things popped up, like the Brazilian Miku, and
Yes.
people started doing all the different countries of Miku, I did American Miku, and I had so much fun in it because it felt like this costume, this character, even though I've had rough times with it, people have been mean to me in it. It's been a character that I'm like, it doesn't really matter what trolls say because all forms of her is canon. And I feel like I can represent her in my own way, you know? So Mika's a big character, especially since I like singing and I love gaming and I love her designs and everything. And she kind of represents a lot of things that I love and enjoy. And so I feel like she's a good character that I feel represented in.
I really love that. That's amazing. I love American Miku.
She's so much fun. And the Brazilian Miku cosplayers are so gorgeous.
Yes, exactly.
Well, do you have what's on the horizon for you? Are you going to any events coming up? Are you doing anything new that we could share with anybody who's watching?
I do have an online event coming up that I am a co-host to. There is BIPOC Vampire Day or weekend. It is September 19th through 21st, where Black and Brown, Indigenous people of color get together and make costumes or media based around vampires because it's another place in fantasy where we're not represented as much. And though, like recently, we've had Sinners, the movie come out that was a good representation of vampires in different spaces. So this is an event we hold every year. It also helps, we do a charity for sickle cell awareness because it is more common in Black bodies, that it's something that we're trying to raise money for to help other people. And it is both representation and a charity that we do every September. And so we all dress up as vampires, and I have a character that I named Adora, who is like a vampire mistress kind of character, where she's a co-host to the whole event. And so we do that every year, and photos, and we have D&D going on and gaming and stuff. So that is for all BIPOC people who want to show off that they belong in fantasy. Um, Outside of that, I don't have any huge events. I know in November I'm going to try to do a subathon on my Twitch for myself because it's my birthday month. And so I'm going to hang out there. Um, as for cosplay, I feel like I have to take a small break because I just got back from a convention. And even though I said I was going to take a small break, I'm working on 3 costumes right now because I'm going to
That
try to.
doesn't sound like a break.
I'm working on them slowly. One's a modified costume, so it's not too much sewing. I'm doing Link from Ocarina of Time, and then I'm working on Nifty from Has Been Hotel,
Mm.
and and then I wanted to try to make some kind of pumpkin dress for Halloween. So
Cool.
I'm just working on them slowly so that October doesn't hit and I'm like, oh no, I didn't do any of this. So I'm just like cutting out one piece of pattern and then putting it to the side and then another piece and then putting it to the side. So it's
That's
taking a break for me because I try to make costumes in like 2 days. So
I was actually just going to ask you that. Like, is your process usually you think about what you might want to do next, and then kind of like ruminate on it and pick like pieces up here and there, make certain parts of it? Or is it what you just said, like 2 days, costume by Thursday?
um I am a very like kind of person when it comes to things where I will think, oh, I want to make this. Do I have all the material for it? Yes or no? No. If no, I write down everything I need. I used to collect the Joanne's bag. Rest in peace, Joanne's. And I would put all of the fabric, the pieces, the remnants, and everything I needed in the bag. And I tape a picture of the character to the front of the bag and put it to the side until I'm ready to work on it. If not, I would just kind of get the bits and pieces and then be like, okay, I need to get this, this, and this. And then I write on a sticky note all the stuff I need on it and put that on the bag. So when I look back at it, I go, okay, that's right. I can't work on this because I don't have this, this, or this. Like I have a bag off to the side right now for Starfire from Teen Titans because I need silver material to make her neck pieces and everything. So that's going to be back burner until I get the money to work on that piece. But right now I can't worry about it because I don't have the money for it. So I have to put it to the side. And then after that, I just kind of work. A lot of times people ask me like, well, you should do tutorials on how to sew or how to do makeup. And I'm like, I'm gonna be honest with you. I black out and it's done. I I I would love to do a tutorial, but I just kind of go, all right, start. And then I wake up and I'm like, oh, I finished it. Cool. I I try so hard to do tutorials, but my mind just runs and then when it's done, it's done. So sometimes I have to like set up a camera and hope I catch something, but like I'll be running back and forth. And then like secrets cosplayers don't tell you is half the time we're in our underwear because we've got to try it on, take it off, pin it back, put it back on, take it back off, sew it, try it back on. So why am I putting my shirt back on? Because I'm going to be like constantly retrying it on. So like I just be sitting there in a sports bra with like, shapewear on or something because I got to keep trying it on. So I'm like, I can't record it because that's not something I could post to the internet.
That is so real. And you know what? I like for me, when I'm getting ready, like music is like top
Mhm.
tier. Like having music to get ready to get like into character and like you can't really put music on YouTube. So it's like, I mean, unless you're muting it, but
Yeah.
yeah, I totally understand what you're saying.
It's either music or Reddit stories for me. Because I like listen
Mm.
to the Am I the Asshole stories while I'm sewing and stuff.
Those
That's
are very
hilarious.
juicy.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I'm super excited to follow your journey. Happy early birthday. I know November's a few months away, but just so honored to have had this, to have this time to chat with you and hear more about your experience. I'm really excited to be sharing your story, because I just think it's so inspiring. I learned a lot I knew in looking at your at all of the places that you show up in the world, that we were gonna have fun chatting. So excited about the event in September as well. So we'll have to make sure to post about that in the Gamers platform, and in any of the ways that our broader community can support that. We'd love to do that. And just thank you for being here. Congratulations, best of luck, and I really look forward to seeing what comes next for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and Sarah, thanks for being here. This is a super fun hour. We have 2 more episodes of Pink Pixels, season 3, more award winners to feature. And, this is just the beginning of the conversation. You can always join us at the Gamers platform, tgh.app. Look forward to seeing all of you there, and have a wonderful day.